I'm back again with another giant waste of time for a challenge. Simply because, well, I'm dumb. So, how are we wasting time today? We're going to see if we can beat Final Fantasy VIII using only summons. Oh, and Shiva's banned as well because for some reason her summon animation is copyrighted. Square Enix is just kind of weird like that. So, rules! First, summons only, obviously given the name of the video. This means no command whatsoever other than GF can be used with one exception: draw. However, draw can only be used to get new GFs. At no point am I allowed to use it for magic in battles. Draw points throughout the game are allowed though. Next, we have all other commands such as item, magic, defend, card, etc. They are completely banned, and we aren't even allowed to equip them. This means no healing in fights at all. Items are allowed on the overworld, however. Lastly, auto abilities are allowed. We have to give this run a fair chance after all. But before we get into the video, if you want to stay up to date on all the latest and greatest, then check down below in the description and drop a follow to me on Twitter and Twitch, where I stream 3 days a week. Also down there is a link to our Discord community where you can hang out with me and other like-minded people. And of course, remember to smash that like button and drop a comment down below, as it really helps to combat YouTube's shitty algorithm and give the channel a nice boost. Also, if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more content. And for those who want to go above and beyond in helping to support the channel, then down below as well is my Patreon link and also my merch store, primalstore.net. And if you use code PrimalXmas, you get 20% off all orders until the end of the month. And now, back to the video. Now, let's jump into things. And we start with getting Shiva and Quetzalcoatl right away from the PC. And this is where things get annoying. Because of the fact Shiva is copyrighted, I can't show any footage using her. Which means I can't just go to Ifrit right now, because Shiva is how I would beat him. Which means I need to get our lovely little Thunderbird even stronger. And you might have guessed what that means. If you said grinding, congratulations! You're wrong. I know, weird, right? Well, kinda. We're actually gonna play cards, duh. The grinding comes later though. I've attempted this run before, so I'm learning my lesson from that attempt. We need magic early. Like, very early. Otherwise, we're gonna run into problems later. And can you guess where? Don't worry if you can't, I'll point it out because on paper, this run seems easy. It's not, okay? It's really not. So, win Minimog and the Kirsty's cards, and then stock up on all the other cards available. At this point, you can get pretty much all level 1 to 5 cards with a single exception, namely Pew Pew. Okay, so once you've lost your dignity because you played cards for far longer than the game even takes to complete, we can finally do the tutorial. Or we can after an actual grind, so we can kill Ifrit with just Queezo. And this one sucks because it's slow pretty much the entire time. We need to learn a bunch of abilities now for our summons. For Shiva, I suggest learning Ice Magic Refinery and Vitality Junction. Then also learn Boost and Some Magic and GF HP. For the fights that you totally won't be using Shiva for. Now, I should probably clarify, I will be using Shiva in this run. You just won't see her on the video, hence why I'm learning the damage and HP boosting abilities. Now, for our little early game clutcher, learn card and then card mod so we can actually get magic, Thunder Magic Refinery, HP Junction, Vitality Junction, and the boosting abilities. Once we have all of these, we're only 75 hours into the game and we can finally beat the tutorial. Right after actually converting cards and junctioning magic. Let's go! Now, because of summon animations, I play it safe and choose a 20-minute timer for Ifrit. I don't really care about seed rank after all, and it goes down in 2 summons. Now, it's time to grind out Ifrit though. I know a lot of people are going to say, use Cypher to level. The answer is no, because I can only use the summon command. This means I can't kill off my own party members, and I don't want to wait for the weak enemies to kill off Squall and Zal. So I'm just going to do it on the beach here with Squall and Cursus. The extra gain levels will make no difference to me. Now, for Ifrit, I'm going to learn HP Junction first, followed by Fire Magic Refinery, and then the Summon Magic and GFHP abilities, as those are the only ones I care about right now. Once the grind is done, make your Fire Magic and especially Flare Magic, and move on. Speedrun through ALOT, and remember to equip a draw for the boss battle so we can get Siren. First fight is against Wedge and Biggs, who go down in 1 summon each. However, I make sure not to queue up a second one because I don't want to kill Alvarad until we get Siren. I make Zal draw Siren because he has Shiva, meaning he can't summon on camera, because fuck Square Enix, and their bullshit copyright. It's okay though. 2 summons from Squall and 1 from Selfie does the trick, and now I can equip Siren onto Zal so he can actually summon on screen. So now we have 3 characters capable of dealing damage. Next up we have the X-ATM, and since I powered our little Thunderbird up a lot, we can actually go for some of that juicy AP to get Siren her abilities. And this is really important, because we need to learn her stuff so we can get Diablo easier. I want to keep Zal and Selfie as low level as possible. Since Squall is already in his 30s, I don't want Diablo to have too much HP or speed from leveling up, and X-ATM gives no EXP, making it the perfect chance to do so. Our aim is Life Magic Refinery and all the GF boosting abilities, which isn't great considering I need 3 summons to knock ATM down fully to get the AP, meaning even with high speed, it takes about a minute per kill. Eventually, I decided to just kill it. I got most of the abilities I wanted and didn't want to sit around risking the time limit. I was hoping for the Magic Crown drop for 40% extra magic, but the game said no, sadly. Right, onto Diablos. After you use Siren's new Refine abilities anyway. Full Life, Regen, and Curaga are going to be great additions for survivability. Also, get Zal's card from his mum and Cypher's card from Sid. Oh, and Raldo and Grinaldo go down instantly and aren't worth mentioning. Now, Diablo is a race against time. He only has 1 attack that can kill us, his melee. However, gravity attacks drain our health rapidly, which puts us at great risk. Add to that, Ifrit isn't doing amazing damage, and neither is Siren, and we have a little bit of a problem. This is entirely an endurance race. Either he dies, or I die. There is no in between here. We absolutely have to beat him though. His abilities like Encounter None are just far too good to pass up. Quizo was doing a lot of work for me until Diablos decided he really didn't like me, getting 6 entire melee hits in at once, killing Squall and Selfie, and then also killing Siren on Zal, which means I have to use Shiva. So sorry, but you won't be seeing the rest of this fight other than little snippets where Shiva isn't summoned. Eventually, Shiva is down to 1149 health and gets hit again, taking her down to just 700. Zal is on 37, meaning 1 more melee hit and it's game over for me. Shiva can take 2, but I fluke the win on that Shiva summon, giving me the win and the goodies. But now everybody is dead, so I go back to garden to the dormitory and rest. Right after saving, I do anyway. Then I set Diablos to learn Encounter None, stick them on Zal, and go grind abilities. The only ones I want are HP Junction, Encounter Half, Encounter None, and his Magic Refinery abilities. Once done, refine all the new magic you can, focus on Pain for status defense, Meltdown for VIII, then things like Quake and Double, which are great in many places. At the end, make sure to equip Encounter None. My levels are already pretty high now, giving me an average party level of the upper 20s. That's not good, so I don't want any more encounters to get more EXP. Thankfully, we're done with the grinding for a while, and we can hold off now until Idiot later. So for now, move on with the game. Get Angelo card, and Fake President 1 goes down in 1 summon for each form. So we're moving on to Brothers, who, surprise surprise, also go down. 1 blast from Lightning Bird. Now, I knew from my first attempt at this challenge run this was going to happen. The early game is, well, quite easy given the grinding we did previously, but then we still only are on disc 1 currently, and things will get a lot different later. Even though Sacred and Minotaur together lasted longer, ultimately they were no challenge. Moving on, don't forget to equip for the Iguan fight so we can draw Carbuncle. I swear this isn't my second attempt at the fight because I forgot to do just that the first time around. Once it's drawn, murder away. Now, don't worry about abilities for Carbuncle and Brothers. We aren't going to grind just yet, and they don't have anything downright amazing that we need right this instant. So we'll do that later when we can also level all GFs to 100. Blast Cypher and EDO away before being blasted yourself, and then it's time to go to prison. At this point, I could farm Rosetta Stones using RNG manipulation, which if you're interested in learning how to do, check out my FFA playlist as I have guides in there for all manipulations. Rosetta Stones let me equip 4 abilities at once and are quite helpful, but we don't need them just yet and have another source of them later anyway. Now, this will be the last time I mention cards, but go back to Daling and get Renoa's card. Then in the future, make sure to do all card quests such as the Card Club and the Queen of Cards chain. Also, get all player and GF cards. But for the sake of video length, I won't be mentioning them anymore. Spider Tank managed to get a few hits in, but thankfully we're still at an early point in the game, and I used our 3 low-level female characters to ensure the damage I was taking was very low. And after a bunch of Sirens, Ifrits and Quizos, it died along with the soldiers right after it. Enjoy these easy fights while you can. Pretty soon, we won't have anything easy. Oil Boils were needlessly memed and died off in just a few summons. However, I couldn't remember them hitting this hard normally. They did a surprising amount of damage to me, but they don't have much HP anyway, and Ifrit finishes them off. Now for Master of the Universe, Supreme Tentacle God Norg, and this isn't the good kind of hentai tentacle. Now, make sure to equip Draw so we can get Leviathan, but disaster. We get silenced on Squall instantly because I'm an idiot and forget to protect against it. So we already lost our strongest and most useful character. The pod only has 2,000 health, so getting it to open up for Norg to appear himself is quite easy. But Irvine is slowed, Squall might as well just be dead, and Zal summons hit like a wet noodle. So, yay, I guess. The pod does eventually open, letting me get Leviathan, but then Squall gets poisoned and Zal is slowed now as well. And Norg is hammering me with magic. Add on to that, with my current average party level, Norg has reached his maximum allowed level of 27. This gives him around 12,000 health. And then Irvine is also silenced. So now we're down to the wire. The only character I have left who can do damage is Zal. Squall and Irvine are now just there to try and soak up his hits and silence these. But a tornado cast kills Irvine, Thankfully, Ifrit is doing around 2500 damage, meaning I'd only need a few, but Disaster strikes and Zal gets silenced, meaning this fight is a loss and I need to reload my save. Also, I forgot to save after saving Garden, so it's back to pre-oil boils for me. Attempt number 2, only this time I sort my summons out properly and give Squall silence protection and slow protection. I haven't learned status defense on any other GFs currently though, so he's the only one protected, but that's all I need to win this fight. For extra safety, I also use Carbuncle to set up Reflect. Not only does this mean I take less damage, but it also means Norg hurts himself. This gives me the damage needed for a nice, fast win without too much trouble, especially since Squall is doing around 4000 damage per summon. Anywho, now we're on to the good stuff. With a mobile garden, we can do a lot. And sadly, we have to. Remember how I said this is my second attempt at this challenge? Yeah, we need some stuff for later. And this is also why I'm playing the 2013 Steam edition of the game, so I can use Chocobo World. This is what I started at. Well, this is what I stared at, I should say, for way too long here. Enjoy. Thankfully, I had a good starting ID and I'm able to get all 4 ranks of items. So now I farm until I have 99 for all 4 ranks. And now we're gonna cheese this so I can save my sanity. Copy your Chocobo World save from the Documents tab and paste it somewhere. Doesn't matter where, we just need a backup for it. Then load into FF8 and go to Save and select Chocobo World. Bring Choco back, get your items, then send it away again. After that, come out of that screen, copy your backup save file for Chocobo World and paste it over your save in Documents folder. By doing this, we can amass as many of the items as we want with only having to play Chocobo World once. And yes, it took me hours of just copy pasting to get everything. But now that I do, using Amnesia Greens and make 6 GFs forget basically everything. Then teach them all the junction abilities along with Auto Protect, Auto Shell, Auto Haste and Ribbon, along with some Magic 40 and GF HP 40 and ability times 4. Now, with these 6 GFs, you might think it's overkill. However, it's not. We're going to need all 6 characters later to be at the absolute top of their game. Also, get Doom Train. Now, we head over for Cactus to learn the new abilities on Leviathan, Carbuncle and Doom Train. And trust me when I say, doing this farm with just GFs was not nice at all and took forever. And afterwards, this is how I'm set up. So, let's move on. In Balam, we fight Fujin and Raijin, who don't have anything worth talking about now because of the Chocobo grind we did. However, make sure to draw Pandemonium. Also, let's not talk about me being an idiot and healing Raijin. Because half of my GFs are on the other characters currently, Squall only has access to Quizo. Anywho, after way too many casts of Leviathan and Doom Train, we eventually take down Fujin and Raijin, and we are off to a war with Galbadia, is what I would like to say. But we're nearly at a point of no return, and if we don't do something hella annoying right now, this challenge becomes 100% impossible. Because under our current rules, there is one boss in this whole run who has just one way and one way only to win. And in order to do that, we need to go beat Odin. Not because we want to, but because his timer gets in the way. Now, once I open the door to Odin, I leave the area and save. By doing this, we also reset the timer, and we're going to need as much time as we can get here. I open with Doom Train to inflict a meltdown, and then spam Leviathan and Quizo for good damage each round. I tried Diablos, forgetting that's useless on bosses in this game, so I just go back to spamming Doomtrain with Zal. But because Irvine and Zal's levels are lower, this is bringing my party average down, which means Odin is only around level 20 to 30 for me, and dies in just 3 minutes, which I can honestly say I'm glad about. That wasn't the annoying part though. The annoying part is we now have to kill 20 Tonberries, because the Tonberry GF is sadly 100% required for this run. And he has shit tons of health. Way more than he should do anyway. That's why we killed Odin, to remove the timer, since even if Tonberry King spawns at only level 20, that is 50,000 health, and if it's level 30, then it's 75,000, and level 40 is 100,000, and so on and so forth. AKA, he gained 25,000 health every 10 levels, which is bad for us because it means the fight takes forever. Anyway, kill 19 Tonberries and then save. Then kill the 20th, and once it dies, Tonberry King spawns. And this goes as you might expect it to. I spam Doomtrain, Leviathan, and Quizo, and it takes freaking forever. This is also one of the reasons why we needed Chocobo World. Auto Protect and Auto Haste, along with Junctions, basically everything, now has given us insane defense, which without it, we just wouldn't have been able to survive anywhere near close to what we did in this Hell on Earth endurance contest. Sadly, Leviathan died, but just before I had to use Shiva, Tonberry died as well. That was a little close for comfort, and if I wasn't so careful with my party level, would have been much worse. Another 10 levels means another 25,000 health and a bunch more stats, meaning I do even less damage while he does more. And if anybody is curious, beating the 20th Tonberry and killing Tonberry King took 22 minutes for that one fight. But next up is Cerberus, where I realise I'm an idiot. I forgot he absorbs elements, so Quizo is useless for me. Thankfully, Doomtrain and Tonberry don't have that problem. What is a problem though is Cerberus has triple, which he uses almost right away. He's also really fast, so for every attack I get out, he gets a lot more out. Oh, and Pandemonium does no damage either, so Squall is 100% useless for me in this fight. Now, to be clear, I could cheese this fight by using Carbuncle, but I really don't want to have to do that, and so it's my absolute last resort, since it makes this fight pretty much impossible to lose. But it's fine anyway. Tonberry and Doomtrain are just too much for this overgrown puppy, and he goes down after about 10 minutes. This was one of the last few easy bosses though in this run, which I'm kind of sad about. Pretty soon I'm going to have to make sure all of my GF HP is full for the bosses. So Cypher goes down without any real challenge, which is to be expected. He has no real defense, no elemental resistance, and Doomtrain inflicts Meltdown on him. Couple that with his low natural HP, and we have an easy warm-up fight for the next boss, Cypher 2 and Edia. Cypher once again goes down no real trouble. I do make sure to only do one summon at a time though, because once Cypher dies, Edia instantly enters the fray, and we need to draw Alexander from her. Once we have that, we can start spamming our summons. But Edia does have some nasty tricks up her sleeve, namely gravity magic. So right away, I lose half of my health. Not a good start at all. Also, she has high magic defense as a standard, which lowers my damage output. But she is an outlier among bosses. She's not resistant to every status, and Doomtrain inflicts sleep on her, letting me really pile up the damage. This is rather lucky if I'm honest, as Edea actually has decent speed and some pretty potent magic, especially when combined with the gravity spells. If she was left unchecked, she would be able to quite easily decimate my party, but sleep saves the day and she goes down without much effort. Never would have expected a status would help me clutch this fight. I got a few game overs here on my first attempt at this challenge. Ruby Dragon is a pretty nasty foe if you're higher leveled, but because of watching my levels, thankfully it's not too strong. If it was over level 45, it would have access to Flare and even worse, Meteor, with a high magic stat to go with it. Sucks for him though, as he's able to be doomed, and guess what Doom Train inflicts? Yep, he was doomed. Oh, and put to sleep as well. This is now a point of no return. If we don't have Tomberry before we go to Esther, it becomes impossible to clear this run. So keep that in mind if you decide to do this challenge yourself. Now, remember way back at the start of the run, I said we weren't going to do any grinding with Cypher in ALOT? Well, the reason was because we're going to do it now with Edea instead. The reason we do this is to level all of our GFs up without increasing the level of our party members. So we're going to unequip everything from everybody and give it to Edea. Then we're going to enter a fight, let Squall and Zell die, then murder everything using Edea and only Edea. Sadly, this grind is one that gets longer the more you do it instead of faster. Because as Edea levels up, the party level rises, which means mobs get stronger. But it's something we need to do. We absolutely need to get more damage on our current GFs along with more HP. To be specific though, we want Tomberry at max level. This is important for a later boss. So grind your life away until all GFs are level 100, and of course, just my luck while wanting to kill Squall and Zal, the first damn fight I get Odin. And of course he ruins it for me. Luckily enough, the second fight is up against a Visage, and even though he keeps stealing my magic, he does his job and eventually kills Zal and Squall off. It just takes forever, even when abusing Visage's weakness to holy magic. Once all is said and done though, this is how we end up after grinding for over 80 hours. And before anybody says anything, yes, I know leveling GFs is faster by spreading them out across characters, as GFs still earn EXP when equipped on a dead character. I changed this method pretty much right away in the grinding session. So Abaddon, we can't cheese him with healing items in this run, but our newfound summons make short work of his measly 17,000 HP. I'll never understand why this mob is a boss given how weak he is. But next stop, space. Propagators go down easily as the last simple boss we face. Feels bad, man. Now we're in for hell. We now have multiple things to do. We can go get the hardest GF to obtain this challenge, character, or we can make our life easier, leaving that till later. We can get Bahamut and Eden, or we can rescue Renoa. And sadly, no matter which of the three paths we take, they all have their own problems. So let's do Bahamut and Eden first, since that will help with getting Jumbo Cacta. This is also the part now where I start using Irvine and Selfie in my party, as they are the lowest level characters I have currently. I just wish I could replace Squall. So let's go murder a dragon. Also, this is where my editor stabs me. Sorry, Daff, he has to die. I did have a little chuckle though using Alexander on Bahamut. FF9, anybody? Once Doom Train applies Meltdown to Bahamut, Tomberry hits for around 8,000 damage and Alexander around 8,600. And because I'm again using my lowest level characters, my party average level is somewhere around the mid-30s. This means Bahamut has around 35,000 HP, and so goes down pretty fast. The next boss we're not going to be so lucky with. He's fast, hits hard, and we need to draw Eden from him. I am of course talking about Ultima Weapon. and he starts the fight by one-shotting Selfie and then Squall. What a great way to start. Things are already going terribly. Tomberry also only deals about 3,500 damage a use, and Ultima has around 90,000 health in its current level range, and nearly twice as much spirit than vitality, so summons are dealing even less damage until I can get Doom Train to land the VIII status. But Irvine is killed by Light Pillar as well, and sadly, there is nothing I can do to stop Light Pillar. It ignores defense and does max damage no matter what. The only way to bypass it is with invincibility, but items are banned in the rules. So I need to get lucky and kill it before he murders me with it. And we can't just leave it either. We need Eden for this run, and I need it before Ultimicia's castle, so we can't even get it from Tiamat. Next attempt, Squall dies instantly, and I can already see this is going to take me a long time. At least I have Selfie alive to get Doom Train going, but ultimately I'm already expecting this to be a failed attempt, especially when Ultima uses Light Pillar twice more to kill Doom Train, and then again to kill Selfie. It all relies on Irvine and Tomberry now, so of course we're going to fail. And lo and behold, I must be psychic because that's exactly what happens. I hate Light Pillar. Now, I don't know if I was lucky in a past life or something and used up all my luck in this life, because I have no luck at all with this fight. Seriously, I spent days trying to get this guy killed, and I'm not talking just a few attempts each day. I'm talking trying for multiple hours every time. There were some runs that looked promising where I'd keep everybody alive for ages and deal massive damage, only to have him use Light Pillar. And I shit you not, 5 freaking times in a row on my best attempt. By my working it out, he should have been 1 hit away from death just before he gave me the damn finger. Now, I don't normally or easily get mad on games, but that triggered me hard. I had to step away from the game for a few days after. It was a real controller throwing moment, but then the stars aligned for me and I was lucky as all hell. On attempt number 669, I summoned Bahamut first with Squall, since Ultima really doesn't like him and targets him first with Light Pillar the majority of the time. So Bahamut is my sacrifice in case it happens again. I get Tomberry going with Irvine and Doom Train with Selfie. Doom Train lands and then Selfie is killed by Light Pillar, leaving me with just 2 characters majority of the fight. Squall using Alexander and Irvine using Tomberry, and I spend the entire time just mashing X as fast as I can to queue up summons right away just in case he uses Light Pillar. I deal massive damage before Squall is taken out by Light Pillar eventually. Now it's just Irvine and Stabby. I have no luck with Stabby, and at this point you might have realised something. In this attempt so far, I haven't drawn Eden yet. Can you see where this is going? I have done that many attempts at this fight and lost that much patience, I completely forgot about it. Thankfully, mid-fight, while I was thinking I've done tons of damage, this might be the one, I realised, wait, have I drawn Eden yet? So I panic, I check draw, and there it is in the listing. I'm really scared now, because now I have to waste an extra turn to draw Eden. The boss is only a few hits away from death, meaning I almost lost my chance at Eden here. So I draw Eden and survive. Now I resume bringing Stabby out, and at this point I'm on the edge of my seat. I'm seriously scared of dying again. It's all or nothing. I'm mathing out the damage in my head and realize just one more hit should kill it. So when Ultima survives, I panic, thinking he's at a much higher level range. You see, the way levels work in FF8, they can be anywhere from 10 levels lower or 10 levels higher than your party average level, unless they have a level cap like the majority of the bosses in the game. So at this point, I'm thinking he has 11,000 more health, aka about another 15 turns of using Tonberry. But while that thought is going through my mind, he dies to the next one. That's right, Ultima died, and I cannot even begin to explain the level of relief I have right now. It is unreal. This fight took days and days of attempts. I can honestly say there was more than 60 hours easily put into attempting this one fight. And right now, I don't even care if we fail this challenge. I feel like I just won the freaking lottery. And since I'm now out of Hal, what's next on the plan? Well, we're going straight back to Hal because we're getting the final summon, Jumbo Character, and I hate this guy. He has around 150,000 health at current levels, and after being hit 5 times, he uses 10,000 needles, which means I have a maximum of 15 turns to deal with him. And I realized right away I fucked up because I used Eden and Tonberry before Doom Train, lowering my damage per turn. So now I use Eden again with Meltdown applied, and then use Tonberry again. This is so the 10,000 needles counter after the 5th hit kills Irvine instead. Eden is one of only 3 things in the game which can break the damage cap, and is my highest source of damage, meaning I can't lose Squall. So I need to time my turns and only attack with another character when I need them to take that hit. So I use Eden 4 more times, and then Leviathan with Selphie. I use Leviathan for an easy max damage since character is super weak to water, but this now means Selphie is dead as well. So it's all riding on 5 more casts of Eden. Oh, and did I forget to mention, character can run away, and if he does, it means we have to do this all over again. Sadly though, I mess up on my turn count and use Leviathan too early, wasting around 2,000 points of damage. And because I used Tonberry earlier, that was also wasted damage, meaning I've lost nearly a full use of Eden. But now I'm panicking. 2 full uses of Leviathan and no counter. I'm blaming Eden's stupidly long animation for me losing track of where I was on the turn order. So now all I can do is use Leviathan until he kills Selphie. And then it happens. So now I just have to use Eden until one of us dies. Chances are though, it's gonna be me. Now, I do have a way around this problem, as there is something I could do to massively boost my damage. 2 ways in fact, but he eventually starts hesitating, which means he's nearly dead. A couple more hits should do it for me, and lo and behold, it works, he dies. So now I have all of the summons. Now we need to level Bahamut, Eden and Cacta to level 100 though, to maximize their damage. Tonberry actually has higher power than Bahamut, but Tonberry needs me to use Doom Train to apply VIII first. And that's bad because later we won't have time for that. So we use Bahamut because it ignores Spirit and always deals full damage. Jumbo Cacta at level 100 will always deal 10,000 damage, and Eden is just a broken monster, especially once we start using boost with it. But to level them now, we need to sacrifice a party member. We don't get any more extra characters who leave the party, so we can't do it like we did with Edia. So we're going to use Kirstis, and then never touch her again. So we let Squall die a horrible death to a kitty, and the final grind we do in this run starts now. This is it, the final stretch. After leveling, I run around island closest to Hell and Heaven and use the draw points on the world map to stock up on endgame magic for my final junctions, which are Shell and Ultimate on elemental defense, which means I now absorb all elemental damage. I don't use status protection since I have Ribbon, and then I use the best magic available, not in use elsewhere for other stats. So, full life on HP, Meltdown on Vitality, Pain on Magic, Reflect on Spirit, Triple on Speed, Tornado on Evasion, and Aura on Luck. This is the most defensive build possible. I could throw 2 more things on Elemental Defense, but there's not much point. Right now, there are few things which can stop us in the whole game. The problem, we have to fight those few things, starting with Fujin and Raijin, but they're just a mockery at this point and serve no challenge. Mobile Type B, on the other hand, has some nasty tricks up its sleeve, such as Corona, an attack that can lower my whole party to just 1 HP, and it's a counter. So we have to pay attention to its weaponry mode before attacking, is what I'd like to say, but I boost Eden up to 250% damage and I one-shot the boss with 60k damage. Eden's max possible damage output. Then we have Cypher, who murders Odin, and means we now have Gilgamesh. Outside of that, nothing too special, and I don't even boost Eden for him. The next fight, on the other hand, is a ball ache. It's Adal and Renoa, and if Renoa dies, it's game over. The problem, GFs hit all enemies, except for one, Tomberry. Tomberry only deals damage to a single target, which is why we had to get him earlier. Although I was mistaken about the cutoff point, since I forgot we got the Ragnarok and could explore before we fight Adal. This means in this fight, the only thing I can do is summon Tonberry. Nothing else. It also means I can't heal Renoa when Adele steals her HP. This is the second most fight I'm worried about. There's only one other fight I'm more scared of for ending the run than this one. Oh, and first attempt fails because Renoa died. This is the problem with Tomberry. It targets a random enemy, and Adele has about 35,000 HP. This means I need about 7 hits in a row on Adele at 50% chance a hit. In other words, I need to flip a coin and get heads 7 times in a row. Much easier said than done. And once you factor in that Adele keeps healing by draining Renoa, that 7 hits in a row becomes more like 8 or 9, further lowering my chances. With all this in mind, I don't know what my percentage is of succeeding, but it's not high. Also, fun fact, Gilgamesh can spawn in this fight, meaning sometimes the fight's over instantly because Renoa dies. Now, on paper, this is technically possible to do, and according to Google Math, the odds are a 1 in 1024 chance, aka a 0.1% chance of me winning this fight. And this doesn't mean I'll win the fight over 1,000 attempts. I can do 1,000 attempts, and all of them will have that 0.1% chance to succeed. But this is me we're talking about, and I'm dumb. So, do you think I'll keep trying until I get the win? Well, I also get a rather genius idea. What if Renoa and Adele both die at the same time? Which flag takes precedence? Is it the game over flag because Renoa dies, or the win flag because Adele died? Well, after 6 days of trying with Tomberry, I give it a go and use Eden, boosted to 250% for max damage. And the answer? The win flag takes precedence. I am both so relieved and so annoyed that I didn't try this sooner. I am legit mad right now that I have wasted so much time on this fight when such a goddamn simple way was possible. Let me be clear. Even though I thought of the idea, I really wasn't expecting it to work. It's really one of them, it's not dumb if it works kind of things that people use as an excuse when something totally jank works when it probably shouldn't. But I'm sure as hell not going to complain here. Next up, 11 sorceresses, and it's a pretty easy fight as expected from Trash. But now we're in trouble. Ultimicia's castle and all of my abilities are blocked, meaning the only thing I can possibly do is attack, right? Well, I blew people's mind with an ingenious workaround, the exact thing in my FF8 Magic only run. And, you might have guessed it, it's the return of return damage on the Red Giant. Because even though I said in the Magic Only run I would never do that again, I hate myself, and it's not like I needed the 3 hours it takes to win that way, right? Right? Anywho, Red Giant has 30,000 HP regardless of his level, and return damage does about 100. That means I need to be hit 300 times. The problem? He deals massive damage, even with auto protect. We can mitigate this a little though by abusing the fact we have 2 parties in Ultimicia's castle. Even though we can't remove Squall, we can just use the party without him. So I split my group with the highest level characters in one group and my lowest in the other. Then I just use the swap point to swap over to my lowest level group, with an average party level of around 18. Now, since this is a more thought out version than the Magic Only run, I try it by using HP 80% on everybody instead of Auto Potion. Let's see how that works out for us. Slink past Sphinxer into the dungeon and start the fight, and then just sit there and let him wail on you. It's at this point I forgot to take Encounter None off of Selfie, so only 2 of my characters are returning damage. My high evasion also means I'm losing out on a lot of damage there as well, but there's another problem. Return damage is only hitting for about 60, meaning it would take about 500 hits, and I can't survive that long without Auto Potion. And finally, with Renoa, it means Angelo is going to appear and I have to reset because that's a limit break, and it breaks the rules of the challenge in my opinion. So, I replace Renoa, remove everybody's junctions for evasion, equip Auto Potion, and spend those VIII ups and HP ups I got from Chocobo World ages ago across the party. Finally, I sell off all my potions and potion pluses, so Auto Potion only uses high potions and above, and then I try again. And now, we just need to wait 3 hours. Auto Potion will heal me the minute somebody drops below half health, but my god, is this ever slow. So, let's skip to the end since we already know how this goes from my FF8 Magic Only run. At least this time, Gilgamesh spawns as well to speed things up a little. With that out of the way, we can finally move on. I go and kill Tiamat next to unlock save, just so I can save right outside Ultimisia. Tiamat can't do anything to me though since I absorb all elements, and Tiamat doesn't have any non-elemental attacks. Sorry Daff, I killed Bahamut again. So now I can save, leave the castle, fully heal, and then make my way to the final boss. And if you didn't know, Ultimisia has a trick up his sleeve. Remember Seymour from FF10 and what he does to Aeons? Well, they got that idea from here, because Ultimecia can also insta-kill GFs. Thankfully, she doesn't do it instantly, meaning we have a chance. And to make matters even better, I start out with 2 of my 3 characters. And even better, one of them has Eden. This is pretty much the second best start we could have had in this fight. The best would of course be in all 3 characters I equipped, but this will do. I blast the first form of Ultimecia away with 2 Edens and a Bahamut summon. She does kill Cursus though, who gets replaced with Bay. Form 2 is Griever, who has some nasty tricks up his sleeve, so I'm actually going to do a boosted Eden here. Even though I messed up and only managed a 222% boost, it's good enough. Now Form 3, right after Griever shockwaves me, Zal and Irvine both have barely 1000 health, and Renoa is dead. I'm kind of in trouble right now. There's a lot that can go wrong. Also, if you didn't know, each time you boost in battle, the next time you boost in the same fight becomes harder. And since Renoa died, we get Selfie. My party is complete. Another boosted Eden puts us into phase 4. Now it's a case of spam everything I have and pray to God it's enough. I also just realized, but a final form looks like Anima. But I'm gutted anyway, she insta-kills Eden. Of all the GFs she could have chosen, it had to be Eden. I am gutted. Problem number 2 is Howl's Judgment drops everybody to 1 HP. I lose my biggest damage dealer and now I'm 1 hit away from death. All I can do is spam GFs and hope they take the hits for me here. I also have no idea what level she is, but her maximum is 65, which caps out at nearly 300,000 HP. Maybe I should have left Auto Potion on to at least give my usual characters survivability. But oh well, not much I can do about that now. Eventually, Selfie gets blown away as well, so I'm left with just Irvine at this point and no Bahamut. So it's all up to Stabby right now. But with no Meltdown, I'm not doing full damage. I am lucky, however, because she spams Howl's Judgment, giving me a few extra turns, which makes me think I have a shot before she proceeds to murder me. Well, I tried. Now, let's put on Auto Potion and remove Auto Protect and try again. This time, things go better when Griever doesn't drop me super low, but this time I lose Eden on phase 4. Trouble is starting to show its head because right after I lose Alexander as well, followed by Carbuncle. 3 damn summons in a row on Zal. She murders right after each other. I don't think this is the run because right after, Pandemona is killed and then Leviathan. 5 summons in a row on Zal. I am not happy. Not happy at all. My chances of winning this time are pretty much 0 now. I'm not even in the final phase yet, and I've lost all of my summons on Zal and Bahamut on Irvin. Eventually, Irvin dies, and so does Cacta, leaving me with just Shiva and Diablo on Selfie. I can't use Shiva in a video, and there's no way I'm cutting the end of the kill if I managed it, so run dead. Let's skip a few attempts, shall we? And you know what? I'm not even going to describe what happens in this attempt. I'm just gonna let you watch as the game abuses me in any way it can, like being 1 goddamn hit away, as noted by the text pop-up where she says "and" before losing my final goddamn summon. I would have had more if she didn't cheat and kill Irvine when trying to kill Siren with her GF kill ability. It doesn't help, she insta-targets Eden as well. The sad thing is, if I didn't ban items, this fight would be a breeze, because I'd just be able to revive my GFs after they're killed. But this is what makes it a challenge, I guess, even if right now it's more an endurance contest than anything. Then I get smart though. I bait out her GF killing ability by summoning Bahamut and then wait for her to kill it. The minute she does, I summon Eden and boost it to 250%. Now I just need to hit her 5 times and I win the fight. Surely I can get just 5 more hits out to advance the dialogue. Or not, because she cheats and kills Zal with her GF killing ability again. And he has the most damaging GFs, leaving me with just Siren and Doom Train. Well, and Shiva. But honestly, at this point, I'm going to use it if I have to. We'll just cut the summon animation to the very end with the damage number. But oh my god, we don't need to. We see the "and" text pop up and Doom Train is summoned. We did it. We freaking did it. We beat FF8 using only summons. And holy crap, this was a chore. When I started this challenge, I didn't know if I could beat Adal or Ultimecia, both of which were royal nightmares, and I've honestly thought about giving up so many times. But since that sliver of a chance to complete the run was there, I pushed through, and now here we are. So, to answer the question, can you beat FF8 with only summons? Yes, you can. Should you? No. The absolute amount of fuckery in this run towards the end is insane. Ultimecia wasn't a challenge. It was a coin flip. A buggy coin flip at that. RNG was ultimately the deciding factor here. Not knowledge of the game or skill or anything like that. It all came down to luck. But you know what? I'll take it, because now I can say I've done it, and so I never have to attempt it again. But everybody, if you could smash that like button and drop a comment down below, as it really helps out the channel a lot and gets this video into the YouTube algorithm. Also, hit subscribe if you're new here, and if you want to stay up to date on what I'm doing, or even offer suggestions for my next challenge run, then drop a follow on Twitter and Twitch and join our Discord community. All 3 are linked down below. And for those who want to go above and beyond in helping to support the channel, then take a look at my Patreon or buy some sweet merch from primalstore.net, also linked down in the description. And because I insulted Bahamut, go subscribe to my editor as well. Look, I need to bribe her with subs to keep my life safe. I don't like sleeping with one eye open. Daph's channel is, you guessed it, down in the description. And of course, a massive thank you for the continued support from my current patrons and YouTube members. As always though everybody, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.